Greetings, people. It's Mr. Pull the Trigger yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. So, the disciples of Johnson Suleman has something to say. And before we look into what he said, let me just raise this kind of awareness to people who are forever going to listen to the former lion killer, Apostle Kassy. Believe you me, there's one thing we cannot take away from him. During his prime, when he had made up his mind to stand for the right thing, Kassy stood for the right thing. He asked the relevant questions to Jeremiah Omoto for fame. He fought a very good fight. But the other thing I want to appeal to the conscience of the audience to understand, the situation that the former lion killer is Kassy is captured. And he knows the consequences of getting out of the circle. He knows the consequences of breaking the rules. Deep inside Kassy's heart, I know. He wishes he could be doing the other thing other than what he's currently doing right now. To see Kassy coming in to defend Jeremiah Omoto for fame, yet he had questions that he had for Jeremiah Omoto for fame that were never answered. To those who said Kassy was insulting Omoto for fame, if you can send me a clip in the comments section, or if you can send me a link where he was indeed insulting Omoto for fame, then we can have a different conversation. But based on the information that I gathered, or on the videos that I watched of Kassy, he was just asking Omoto for fame questions. Omoto, where is the CCTV footage? Release the CCTV footage. If you say you'd have nothing to do with this abduction syndicate, release the CCTV footage. That's the question that got Kassy in a hot soup with Jeremiah Omoto for fame. The other question that he was asking Omoto for fame, hard questions. Omoto for fame, you claim to be a prophet. Okay, if you say you do not have the CCTV footage, can you please prophesy the same way you prophesy in your shrine? Can you prophesy and tell us where baby testimony is? Demonstrate your powers of prophecy. Do you see how difficult of questions those were to Omoto for fame? Which made Omoto for fame not take this whole thing lightly to say, why is another pastor coming for me and asking me these tough questions? And which also led Omoto for fame to think that the father of Kassy, Johnson Suleman, is the one pushing Kassy to come out to the public and expose and ask Omoto for fame questions, which makes sense. Because if Johnson Suleman did not approve of what Kassy was doing, all he had to do was to call out Kassy and say, Kassy, stop what you are doing. Don't be attacking my father. Or maybe we can say Suleman does not have a voice over what Kassy does or what Kassy doesn't do. Because Kassy is not a young man. He can make his own decisions when he wants. So I want you to listen to what Kassy said concerning the case of Daniel and what he also said about Jeremiah Omoto for fame. And I'm starting with this segment of his video deliberately, intentionally, because I want to. I know he asked me other questions in his previous video. Okay, Prof X, why are you lying that my father sent you this voice note here and there? Wait for that, I'll attend to that. For now, I want us to address the issue that is hot at the moment, which is the case of Daniel. And the reckless things that Kassy said about Daniel. Maybe I should not say reckless things. That's Kassy's opinion of what Daniel said about his involvement with Jeremiah Omoto for fame. Apparently, Kassy believes that Daniel is lying. Everything that he's saying is lying. Because he's trying to connect Daniel's testimony to Killian's testimony. Because Killian was another pastor of Suleman who came in and then he spoke everything that he spoke about concerning his relationship with Suleman and etc., etc. So he's saying he has learned from experience and he knows better when it comes to people that have worked with prophets and men of God. They all have a tendency of coming out and start bashing men of God and start painting the men of God black simply because the men of God had discarded them, who they've discarded them due to the fact that they are now lacking trust in them. So before I get too much into detail of the video that we need to look into and put our 2 cents on, check it out.
See, I want to tell you something, Mr. PDD. It's not that I'm afraid of anybody or anybody has caved me or whatsoever. I want to let you know things. I watched your recent interview about one Mr. Daniel. I don't know if the picture can roll. About one Mr. Daniel. He said he was in problem. He called Prophet Jeremiah to send him money. Prophet Jeremiah did not send him money. So this and this. He contacted this and that. Listen to me, Prof X. Mr. Daniel is a very big liar. I'm not saying it's wrong. Maybe he didn't work with Prophet Jeremiah or he worked with him. But I'm telling you that, see, when this man was talking, I was just looking at the guy they called Killer. The same guy who came out and did video with the Marine or bandits job, who came to lie so many lies. Now let me tell you something. Prophet Jeremiah has been seen giving people millions, thousands, supporting them. Now if this guy really claimed that he was working for Prophet Jeremiah, what make you feel that he will ask Prophet Jeremiah 10,000 or to register the wife, or ask him 100,000 or 60,000? Did you hear the amount he was mentioning that he needed, that Prophet Jeremiah did not give to him? Come on, if this same person can give millions to people who has not done anything for him, why do you think this same man called Daniel we ask for money and they will tell him we don't have, we'll get back to you and others? Guy, you need to wise up. See, some of these people who worked with men of God, by the time maybe they are found not worthy, maybe they are not trusted, they are not truthful. There are so many people who go to this men of God trying to tell them, this person hates you, this person is planning your downfall, this and this, that and that. By the time these same men of God discover that this person is lying, they avoid them. Then the same person will now begin to come out and say, hey, they will now add to some things that you know that look like truth or that is truth. They will now add more light, they will heap it. See, I know what I'm talking about. Apostle Johnson Suleman has been in that situation of what that Daniel is doing. Trying to paint people, Mary J. and Mary is the one that did this. I work with Mary. Mary disappointed me. Mary betrayed me. That and that. That guy is not telling you the truth. Watch out for that guy. Don't say I didn't tell you. They are trying to add sugar to Maggie to bring down men of God. I don't respond. You know me, I don't respond to your video. I hardly respond to your video because of your high level of intelligence. But please, I beg you in the name of God, allow Apostle Johnson Suleman to mourn the people he has lost. Please, I beg you.
Okay, Mr. Kassy, listen. First of all, I don't think Daniel is lying. And I know you don't think Daniel is lying. But you probably have a point to prove to Omoto for fame. You have an allegiance to pledge towards Jeremiah Omoto for fame. You want to reassure Jeremiah Omoto for fame that you are solidly behind him, or you stand with him till death do you guys part. And I know all this, you're doing it for your spiritual father, which is a noble thing to do, considering your relationship with your spiritual father. You have to have your spiritual father's back, and you have to fill in the gap for him. That's what loyalty is all about. But the point I wanna appeal to your conscience is, Kassy, the case we are dealing with here, it's a case of a missing child. Okay, if you say Daniel is lying, Tell us the truth then. What truth do you have to dismiss the lies that Daniel told? Daniel came and then he told us that he was involved with Omoto Fofe's team in doing damage control for Omoto Fofe's team. And when we say damage control for Omoto Fofe's team, what we are saying is obstructing baby testimony's justice. So if you say what his testimony is not true, then you tell us the truth. You give us the other revelation. You expose us. You expose him and tell the people that this that he said is not true, because the proof that I have is A, B, C, D, and E. Rather than for you to just come and loosely release allegations of that nature against the word of Mr. Daniel. You raised the point that with all the money that Jeremiah Omoto has, there's no way he cannot be able to give Daniel money. There's no way he cannot be able to support Daniel with money. You said Omoto Fofeni has been seen giving millions of nairas to people. What can stop him from assisting Daniel? To be quite frank with you, I don't doubt Omoto's capability or capacity to give out Daniel any amount of money. I don't. But Omoto Fofeni is one cold-hearted human being. There are certain people that he just does not care for, especially the vulnerable. If you look, he recently, he was scammed so much money by the likes of Chioma Johnson, by Doris Ogala. He was scammed a lot of money by Disgrace. The people that do not mean good to him, he is forever bankrolling them. That Emeka Onu was scamming him. That Rita that is in his media team is forever scamming him and creating problems for him. That Ebega governor is forever scamming Jeremiah Omoto Fofeni, taking money from him. And he's forever bankrolling all these people, giving them all this kind of money to do damage control for him. So I do not doubt his capacity to throw away money. But he's quite very much selective as to who he gives the money. Look at what he is doing to Sister Ruth Matthew. Does that resemble, or does that show to you the kind of a man that you can vouch for? That is a kind man, that is an honest man, that is a sincere man, with what he has done to Sister Ruth Matthew. He believes in the power of money, but he lacks the capacity to channel that money towards useful causes. Every time you see Omoto Fofeni giving money in public, it's just for PR. It's not coming from his heart. When you see him going to do all those flood, victims assistance, it's a good thing that he's doing it for whatever reason he's doing it for. It's a good thing that some people get to be saved. But how do you go that extra mile to go and save people of a flood, victims of a flood, when we have a child that went missing at your church and you did nothing about it? That's what makes us question his intentions and everything that he does. So that alone is not enough, Mr. Kassy, for you to justify Omoto's actions towards this case of baby testimony, or to discredit Daniel's statement against the stage-managed philanthropic activities of Jeremiah Omoto Fofeni. Most people have known Omoto Fofeni as a cheerful giver, as a lovely person, as a kind-hearted person. But when they realized what he did to Ruth Matthew and baby testimony, that all was overshadowed just by that. That how can he do this to a disabled, physically challenged woman? And how can he not do anything about it? That a child goes missing at your church and you choose to ignore it. All those things, they diluted and neutralized all the so-called acclaimed good things that he supposedly was doing in the past, just to pull crowd for himself, just so that he can be labeled as a humanitarian, as a philanthropist. We will restore all those titles on him the day he decides to do the right thing, the day that we find baby testimony, the day that he clears himself of all of these allegations. And the question you might be asking is, how can he clear himself of these allegations? He can't clear himself if he is part of the abduction syndicate, but he can only clear himself of the allegations if he can prove it with a CCTV footage that he has nothing to do with this. That's the only time that we can come back and say, Omoto Fofeng, we were wrongly accusing you. Or if he can give us receipts that can actually show us that Ruth Matthew sold baby testimony, then we can withdraw everything we have said about Omoto Fofeng. But for now, the testimony of Daniel holds. Regardless of what you choose to call it, regardless of how you may want to defend Jeremiah Omoto Fofeng, Daniel's testimony holds. So with that being said, I'll bring you part 2 of this video that Kassy did, the first segment of it, when he was probably asking Mr. PDT that, okay, tell us about the voice recording. Okay, I'll bring it out and then I'll tell you. So with that being said, I'll check you out on the next episode of the Enlightenment series. This is Mr. Pull the Trigger. I'm out.